all that we know that was good in Marshall's life and help us retain a part of that good as part of the very fabric of our spirit, of who we are. So, Glenda, this would be a great time if you'd like to read his poem.
This is a poem he wrote
I'm the king.
in March 2022. I feel lucky my life has been so great, surrounded by such friends and family. I can only assume it must have been my fate, since we all know how scattered I can be. So as years pass and I grow older, it's fun looking back at it joyfully. I thought I'd prepared this little folder, hoping it will set my loved ones free. It's strange to be preparing for my death while I still feel so completely alive. Each day I thank God with every breath for the wonderful folks who've helped me survive. My life's been better than I ever even dared hope. Played guitar, sang, and even did some writing. I acted like a wise guy, but was often a dope. I've loved and been loved. It's all been so exciting. I would like to die as I've chosen to live, trusting in love and spirituality, giving back whatever I have to give, returning the love that's been shared with me. My life's been better than I ever thought, more wonderful than my wildest dreams. I've laughed and cried, but always sought to seek the truth in all those crazy schemes. Looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. The fun and even hard times got me here. On the carousel of life, I've snatched the golden ring and outgrown much of my silly childish fear. I hope this plan will set loved ones free, so they needn't face the tough choice of how to release this wild energy. I'd rather do it myself in my own voice. Though I'm not usually a pushy guy, when this extraordinary life finally ends, I want to decide when to say goodbye and not lay that trip on family and friends. Do not resuscitate. I love you all.
Oh,
Wow.
that is
Yeah,
so
that sounds a
beautiful.
lot like him.
Perfect.
It's,
You know, you
That's
spent
so
some
much.
time with him, so you know.
Wow.
I found,
That's the most poetic, because it's called Advanced Life Director. That's the most poetic one that I've ever
It's a
seen by
beauty.
far.
I
Yeah.
gave you the copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it. I was looking for something of his. He wrote a lot of things in rhyme, and I was looking for something, and I found this. And I thought this is so perfect.
it was
So
beautiful.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Exactly.
He usually, I'm his editor. I was. So whenever he'd write something, he would share it with me, and I would fix it. But he never shared this with me. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, wow.
But he's
Thank
sharing it
I
now.
want to thank you all for coming today. It means so much to me.
Well, it means so much
To
to
have
us
you
to
here.
be able to be here with you and witness this.
I tell you something, when I think of Marshall, you know what I miss the most? His voice.
Yeah,
He had the most beautiful, his
beautiful
resonant voice.
Just a
his
speaking voice, and he had the best
his
laugh.
speaking voice, his singing voice. Yeah, but his speaking voice was so deep and resonant. It was wonderful.
He was in the choir in Shul for a couple of
Yeah.
Rosh Hashanah, a couple of holidays.
Thank you for sharing that poem, Mom. It really was
Oh,
perfect.
beautiful.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyone else like to share?
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Doesn't have to be in rhyme. It can be just regular.
I just want to say he was the coolest dude I ever
He was too. What a life he lived. You know, he lived in India.
I know he shared a lot of those stories. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He loved to tell it. He loved to tell his
He was a great storyteller.
And he traveled
Best
in Europe and sang in different places. I mean, he really had an adventurous life
Absolutely.
in many ways. Yeah. Glenda, didn't you meet him in Japan?
No, I met him here.
You met him here.
I met him in a Japanese
It was a
class.
class, though. Yeah.
Oh,
We
in
were
a
both
class.
getting ready to go to Japan.
Oh, that's what it was.
Kismet.
Marshall was really funny about things because he did a lot of things, but he wasn't really a name dropper. He would say things in the most offhanded way, and when I was living in New Orleans for a few years, that my mom and Marshall came to visit there. And Marshall says, you know, I think the last time I was in New Orleans was when I was traveling with Chuck Berry and his backup band.
It's like, who knew?
So, yeah.
Really?
That is when I think about Marshall, or I call him Mitch, I think he's the best example of unconditional love I've ever met.
Here, here.
And when I think of him, that's the first thing I think of.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I miss them very much.
Ron, when you were growing up, did you know him?
Oh yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
They lived together for a while when he
Yeah,
came
we,
to Florida.
We wrote to each other when he was in India. We wrote back and forth to each other, and we actually bought a house together, thinking we were going to be real estate tycoons.
Soon.
So yeah, I was still working on it, but yeah, we lived in the house together for a little while, and spent a lot of time when I moved down here. I used to go up to his place, and Brandon, they lived, and spend some time up there, and he would come down and hang out with me, and yeah, we'd spend a lot of time together. But, yeah,
Well, besides the
really
singing,
miss him.
besides the singing and the poetry and the writing, I just loved his artwork. He would sign letters from you and him with that little drawing of the two of you, and it's just
Yes, I have those, and the haiku.
Right.
Yeah,
Came with
I
it.
can't throw away any of those cards.
well, he was the perfect example of not only living in every moment but being in every moment. He was the most present man I have ever met in my life. He was such joy. He was a big man.
So, who would like to do the unveiling?
I'll do it. Ron, you want to help me? So we're just taking the stones off?
Take the stones off, and then you can take the white cover off.
There we
And
go.
then just put it right on the floor for now.
That's beautiful, buddy.
Oh,
What's his middle name?
Yay.
Bertram.
Yeah, that's a very lovely. Good for you.
God, in whose hands are the souls of all living and the spirits of all flesh, standing at Marshall's grave, who has been taken from his family circle, we thank you for all that was good and true in his life, for all that was sweet and inspiring and creative in his character. May this hour consecrated to the memory of the departed bring a message of consolation to all those who remember. May your love comfort them and sustain them, that even when walking through the valley of the shadow of death, they may see your light. We're going to now share a special memorial prayer called El Malei Rachamim. I'll first chant it in Hebrew and then follow with the English translation. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, Takat Kanfei Chashina, V'nishmato Marshal She'alcha Le'olamo, Bala Rachamim, Vitzror Kaimek Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachalato, Ve'yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'nomar. Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Marshall Greenman, who has entered eternity. God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence beneath the shadow of your wings. Let his soul continue to be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace as we say, Amen.
Amen.
And our final prayer is the Mourner's Kaddish, words of praise. Feel free to join me if you're familiar with it. You can stand for the Mourner's Kaddish if you're able.
Whoops, we can get on. Jingle. We gotta go. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, the chair's low.
Backwards.
Backwards.
I was going to bring a lower
Yeah.
one for you, and we were going
Well,
to laugh.
it's on grass too.